Hi everyone, I'm here with another flip through, and this time I have found it. I have found my weight deck that I really like, and it's the Borderless edition, and so I can now feel comfortable retiring the Rider-Waite Pamela Coleman Smith. This is the one that I bought 30 years ago, and I passed on to my daughter, and so now I have this deck, which is really beautiful, and it's Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork, and with the help of the author and Arthur Edward Waite, and Pamela Coleman Smith is the artist. And so I want to show you some of the cards that come with it, but first let me just show you the booklet a little bit. And it just has an introduction. I like this version of it very much. It is an 84 card deck this time around, with major arcana and minor arcana plus some of her extra artwork. So I want to go ahead and show you that. But otherwise, it's basic descriptions of each, which is nice. I really like having the author Waite's writing here, so it's very nice. And some spreads. This is the spread that I've always done, the Celtic cross card spread. That's how I started with the Rider-Waite. I did Celtic cross, and so if anybody's interested in this spread, I have that as an option on my price list if you want that. And I can definitely use these cards for you because they're very straightforward. I mean, the images are clear, and you should recognize them if you know anything about tarot. Of course, if you don't have to know anything about tarot to get a reading, but some of you might like that. So let me show you the cards. So this one comes on top, and here's a list of the extra cards that she has. So the first one is called The Lovers. It's illustrated for scene from Deirdre, Act 3 in The Green Sheaf. Right? And then this one is called Catch Me, and it's a watercolor painting made around 1905 based on Schumann's Opus 10, number 4. You have to listen to that and see how that looks together with the artwork. And then we have Duet, which I think is very sweet. Duet is a 1946 watercolor painting based on the music of Russian composer Igor Stravinsky. So that's really nice. And when I do artwork, I listen to music too. I have a favorite collection of fairy sounding music too, especially when I draw fairies. And so this one is the detailed sheet music for Christmas Carol, published by R.H. Russell in 1898. So it's pretty old. So there you go. Those are the extra cards, and they're really beautiful. I could shuffle them into the deck, as kind of spiritual guides, possibly. Might try that. But let's take a look at these beautiful Borderless Smith-Waite tarot here. So nice and big, really easy to see and read. I don't need them to be gigantic because they're borderless and they fit in my hand, So this is more ideal for my situation. Plus, I like the backing better. It looks better when it's laying down, on my sparkles. Instead of like something that looks like a man's shirt. And, it's the traditional artwork, but it's very nicely printed. So it looks very... So something I want to show you, just so you know that it's, here is that once we get past the major arcana, and when we get into the minor arcana, things change a bit. So you'll see when we get there. I mean, these are such bold lettering. I'm not even need to read it to you. It's very obvious what it says. And if it's not obvious what it says, you know these images. They're just are ingrained in our brain if you're a tarot enthusiast. Okay, there's Judgment and the World, last of the major arcana. And so then they start with the King of Cups, the Queen of Cups, the Knight of Cups, Page of Cups, and then, haha, 10. So you have to be able to read Roman numerals because there's nothing else that's saying, yeah, this is the 10 of Cups, yo. And I love that. Isn't this nice? It's obvious it's cups, and it's obvious. We know the picture. We know what this means. And, you know, Roman numeral X means 10. So that's how you're going to have to figure this out. If anybody needs a Roman numeral lesson, I can give you a little quick one. So the X, which is 10, the 1 is, the I is a 1. And so it's like saying 1 minus 10, which is 9. All right? That's how that works. And the V is 5, and then V plus 3 is 8. And so on. And so forth. Those are the only ones you have to know. V and X and I, that means 1. If you can figure those out, then you can read Roman numerals. But it's just like, it's so fresh, refreshing just to have no border. I really don't like borders very much. I don't know, I mean, I put, and it doesn't look so bad, you know, in the backing of the card because it balances nicely that middle flower. And I put borders on my tarot deck, not because mostly because I needed to make sure, it's because I'm a newbie at printing things, right? And I just wanted to make sure the image would fit that I wanted people to see. And also, purple is pretty, you know. I thought it looked nice anyway. But yeah, I mean, I might go next deck, definitely fairy decks with no borders. So that was part of the reason why I made that deck, was for practice, you know, practice working with printing companies and seeing how it would turn out before I used my actual artwork. And, you know, it's a little... like a little speckled right there. That's interesting. I wonder if that's part of the picture was all like that, the painting. And so on and so forth. I mean, if you like, I will show you all of them. 7 of Pentacles. 6 of Pentacles. 5 of Pentacles. 4 of Pentacles. And you know, when you work with them, you start to, you think of like one word analogies for each one, you know. 3 of Pentacles. I look at this one, I think of, no, I can't think of the one word. I think of like cooperation, or I think of art, I think of, you know, skills, artistic, and I think of collaboration. That's the word I think of. And this one I think of greedy, but it doesn't always mean greedy. Protective of your belongings. And of course this one you think of juggling right away. 2 of Pentacles. Ace of Pentacles. All the aces are new, fresh things. King of Swords. Queen of Swords. And so Swords is air. Knight of Swords. And all things that relate to air. The 10 of Swords. And 9 of Swords. 8 of Swords. It's funny when because I've worked with so many decks now to see. I think the most vivid was the Prismavisions and the swords, because they showed a story and there's this big monster and sword in the sword situation. It's kind of like the challenging episode of a movie, you know. It's and sometimes you can think of tarot that way, you know, like it's a story. The Six of Swords, Five of Swords, Four of Swords, Three of Swords, Two of Swords, Ace of Swords. All aces are good. King of Wands. All kings are authority and older, more mature people, like men. Not necessarily men, though, just the mature, the elevated ones. Queen of Wands. Oh, and I tattooed a kitty where the kitty bit me, and I saw this. It's like, hey, that almost looks like my kitty. I didn't actually tattoo it. I remember I had the Deathly Hallows there. I'm trying to wait for it to heal, but maybe I'll paint the Deathly Hallows back. And I might do tattoo. I'm permanent or not, but sometimes I wear fake tattoos for a while until I can decide if I want a real one or not. And then there's the Page of Wands, Ten of Wands, Nine of Wands. So like this one, you think wounded hero. I think burden for Ten of Wands. Communication with Eight of Wands. No struggle. No defense. Defense is Seven of Wands. And fame, Six of Wands. So there's just certain words that pop out with different ones. Struggle. Conflict, Five of Wands. Twin flame always jumps out now. Four of Wands, you know. Celebration. Three of Wands. Think of waiting. But Three and Two of Wands, they both seem like waiting, but in different ways, you know. Yeah. And Ace of Wands. And there you go, you guys. That is the Smith-Waite Tarot deck, Borderless, with some Pamela Coleman Smith's artwork mixed in there. And I think it's really charming. And I think I got it on Amazon. So if you like that, Faith, Trust, and Pixie Dust.